Amenhotep IV, pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, changed his name during his 5th or 6th year of his rule to Akhenaten, meaning living spirit of Aten.
And who is Aten?
Well, Aten is a circular disk in ancient Egyptian mythology established by Akhenaten, which changed Egypt from a polytheistic nation to a monotheistic one. Actually, during his 9th year, he declared Aten the one and only god.
But why does that matter?
Well, it doesn't so much, aside from the fact that he was not adverse to big change, such as shaking up the artistic norms of how pharaohs could be portrayed. Take a look at this sandstone statue. We clearly see the differences between this and older representations of pharaohs.
Oh, I see. Before we had idealized almost too perfect representations of the ruler, which were made to hold them in a godlike nature. But this clearly isn't flattering.
Well, I wouldn't say not as flattering, rather more distinguishable image than that of the past rulers. Um, who looked very similar. Now there was no more false idealizing, as we find a more exaggerated caricature of him here. Before, the pharaohs would be emotionless, rigid, proportional, and they always wore the traditional headdress. The way the pharaohs sit is very rigid and almost seems like the pharaoh and the throne are one in a sense and stuck and immovable.
He also has a very androgynous feel about him, doesn't he? With those feminine curves and full lips on that elongated face. Compared this to square-faced statues before. I honestly like this style much more, to be honest. Much more respect to whoever pulled this off, such an animated style.
Funny you should mention that. We can give thanks to Akhenaten's master sculptor Beck, who led this change, though he himself said that at one point he was taught this style by the pharaoh himself.
But more than likely, I'm pretty sure he meant told and guided and not taught.
Yes, I would agree, but what's interesting to add is that it seems Beck was told to make the royalty look extremely alike, with elongated heads, protruding stomachs, heavy hips, thin arms and legs, and exaggerated facial features, at least at the beginning of Akhenaten's rule. His wife Nefertiti would later gain her own defining features, but till then, him, his wife, and their daughters were all portrayed in the same style and manner of exaggerated yet realistic features.
Man, that's almost off-putting. It's like they're clones.
Yes, quite. Perhaps Akhenaten was trying to make this an iconic image of royalty. So, he's not too different from the older pharaohs, pushing an agenda and all.
Did they have any other art that followed his style? You said he changed the religion system in Egypt. Did he have any... did any of his art have religious symbols?
Yes, the sun was Akhenaten's most recognizable symbol. One day it was said that Akhenaten had a vision that not only changed his life forever, but also the outcome of Egyptian art and history. He saw a bright sun disk shining between two mountains. He felt a special connection with the sun disk and thought this was shown to him by God. This made Akhenaten construct a city between the two mountains. He was shunned at an early age and never introduced to or influenced with the old traditional way of religion, which was polytheistic. He simply rejected the gods of Thebes. For the first time in more than 2,000 years, Akhenaten changed the whole religious system in Egypt, which angered many of the Egyptians. To introduce a new religion is one thing, but to force this newfound religion is another. Him and his wife both went missing, which lead researchers to conclude that they might have possibly been assassinated. One other thing unique about him is that he worshipped outside opposed to in temples. He wanted to be out in the sun.
Wow, you sure talk a lot.